Super Smash Bros. Is my favorite gaming series, but despite that, there are 9 mechanics in Smash Ultimate that I think should be completely tossed if there's ever going to be a Smash 6. I wanted to make it a top 10, but I honestly couldn't think of a 10th one, so if you think of one, let me know down in the comments what you think it could be and why. Let's dive in, shall we? At number 9 is more of a feature than a mechanic, but we have to talk about skill-based matchmaking. Smash Ultimate has one of the worst competitive ranking systems ever, known as Global Smash Power, or GSP. The theory is simple, but the practicality misses the mark. If you win a quick play match, your GSP points increase. If you lose, they decrease. However, it's way more difficult to gain points than to lose them, so losing a match can feel very defeating. Moreover, the greatest flaw is the fact that there seems to be no cap to GSP, so there's no way to know for sure who is ranked number 1 or in the top 1000, which discourages players to grind for points and spend more time playing the game. But the reason Ultimate's matchmaking system is not higher on my list is because it does one thing really well, which is matching you with other players close to your skill level. I have to at least give it that. Number 8 is magnifying glass damage, the only mechanic on this list featured in other Smash titles. Nothing much to say on this one, it's just annoying and unnecessary. I understand that the game punishing you for staying too long in the blast zone may encourage you to get back on stage and stay there, but hey, I didn't want to end up close to the blast zone, he made me do it. Plus, there's few things more aggravating than going for that perfect no damage game and seeing a measly 1.2% on your stock.
Oh, hell no. That doesn't count. He took damage in the blast zone.
But nah, I think that still counts. At number 7, I have Tough Guy armor. No, I'm not talking about the armor that Little Mac gets on his smash attacks. I'm talking about the walking, breathing armor that Bowser and Kazuya get to defend from puny, weak little hits. How in the world do I deserve to be punished by successfully landing a hit, especially with a character who has an excellent jab attack? It's beyond me, and for some matchups, it puts their opponent at a serious and absolutely criminal disadvantage. At number 6 is weak short hop attack. Successfully execute a short hop while inputting a quick aerial at the same time. Get punished with less damage. Huh? I understand that Smash Ultimate makes it easier to perform short hop aerials as compared to previous Smash games, but come on! Weak short hop attack could mean the difference between winning and losing a game, and I'm willing to bet that it could be the reason for many lost opportunities to take the stock. Just ridiculous. Number 5 is sticky platforms. This is less about how platforms work in Smash Bros. And more about how platforms in Ultimate compare to platforms in other Smash games, which feature more landing lag, more frames to drop through and slip off platforms, and the complete removal of a technique known as shield dropping, which allowed the player to drop through a platform while shielding, thus protecting themselves for the maximum amount of frames possible. Though sticky platforms may cause an advantage for some characters in specific situations, I think this mechanic often frustrates players more than anything, and personally it forces me to prefer playing on stages without platforms at all. At number 4, I have Ledge Trump DI. Like previous mechanics on my list, this mechanic punishes the gamer for playing the game well. A ledge trump means to perfectly time movement of the control stick to grab the ledge directly after your opponent. The fact that your opponent can DI, directionally influence, this animation is absurd due to the fact that slipping from the ledge is substantially more difficult than in previous games because of the sticky platform mechanic as previously mentioned. Though Ledge Trump DI forces flexible offense, my favorite part about the Ledge Trump is that it already keeps your opponent guessing. Am I going to do it? Am I going to fake it? And it's not like the player in disadvantage doesn't have a way to escape. That's what these are for. Roll from ledge, jump from ledge, or attack from ledge. See? Completely unnecessary. At number 3 is the fact that increased mash is required. In Smash, when you're grabbed, for example, you can enter a certain amount of inputs on the controller in order to break out of the grab. This is commonly known as mash. The better the mash, the quicker the inputs, thus the faster the escape. And also, the higher percent you are, the better your mash has to be to break out of the grab. Compared to other Smash games, Ultimate requires the most inputs to be entered. So you can imagine how difficult it must be to break out of grabs or shield breaks at all. At high percents, it's basically impossible to escape a grab, as long as your opponent doesn't pummel too much. But that's not even the worst part, because I have to mention something else. Berry moves. Some characters have certain moves that bury their opponent, which is a lot like a grab in that you have the capability to escape by mashing. But a lot of these bury moves often come as a surprise, so escaping is extremely difficult. And then some characters have the worst mechanic of all, which is the ability to bury out of a throw. At percents over 130 or so, characters like Rob and King K. Rool can simply grab, down throw, and then throw out a strong move to get the easy KO. Because increased smash is required, these bury moves are insanely broken, especially the ones out of a throw. Number 2 is the buffer system. The buffer system refers to the amount of time or frames between entering an input and that input being executed in-game at the first possible frame. In Smash Ultimate, the buffer window is 9 frames, which means that the player can input an action up to 9 frames before the end of the previous action's animation, and the second action will still occur. This mechanic is extremely helpful on offense, as in executing combos or strings, but when on defense, it is anything but helpful. I can't tell you how many times I've simply tried shielding at the corner of a stage only to get hit right before and buffer directional air dodge, all to lose a fresh stock. Not to mention the times I've tried to down tilt, down smash, or down special just to rocket to the bottom blast zone. Plus, playing online makes every input lag an extra 12 frames, so in a game of Elite Smash, this is even more likely to happen. Though the pros to the buffering system in Smash Ultimate are great, the cons are way too detrimental to make this an overall positive mechanic in the game. And again, it lowers the skill gap altogether. And at number 1, the worst mechanic in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate belongs to none other than simple short hop attack. Why? Why is this in the game? Now, I understand that the simple short hop attack mechanic makes easier a maneuver that has traditionally been difficult, but I kind of think that's the point. There is no mechanic that lowers the skill gap more than this. Execution of short hop aerial attacks have always separated the good players from the bad, and making it as simple as pressing 2 buttons at the same time ruins this fact. Take it from me, a Smash Bros. Veteran. In previous games, I had to sweat to master the timing between lightly tapping the jump button and letting go just in time to press the attack button. And Ultimate basically erases all of that work completely, even though that is still how I perform short hop aerials to this day. Not only that, but for me, the way I mastered full hop aerials is by holding down the jump button while pressing the attack button. That's the easiest way to do it. But guess what? That isn't even possible anymore, because instead, that's exactly how you do a short hop aerial in this game. So I had to completely relearn that as well. I can't tell you how many times I've tried full hop aerial, got short hop aerial instead, missed my combo, missed the opportunity, lost the game, and ended up completely frustrated. I can understand if you love this mechanic, especially if Ultimate was your first Smash game and you never had to learn how to do it the hard way. But I take this change completely personal. Come on, other veteran Smash players, you get me, right? And that is my list of the top 9 worst mechanics of Smash Ultimate. Anyway, thanks for letting me complain for a few minutes. I usually don't like to complain. I still love the game, and it's still my favorite game of all time. These kinds of things don't matter to me at all. I just kind of think it's fun to point out and sarcastically vent a little bit. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bless you guys.